I'm Katie.
And I'm Laura.
And we are
Small Town Music.
We are two small town music teachers looking to help other small town music teachers.
So whether it's managing your day-to-day or advocating for your program, we're here to help.
Like and subscribe and follow along on our journey.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another Small Town Music. So today we are going to be discussing how we discipline our own kids versus kids and like our students. So like what things are similar, what things are not similar, what do you kind of want to watch out for, like as a mom, as a teacher, and yeah, because it's a weird thing now.
It is. It's a unique situation. But also, if you don't have kids, don't worry. Keep listening because we're also just going to generally talk about how we handle classroom management in our own classrooms.
Yes,
and hopefully we can help because literally everyone needs help with classroom management. As
a year 8 teacher, a year 18 teacher, like we all still
something we're working on.
Every day, I think I complain to Laura about how I need to be better at classroom management. Yeah.
All right. So I think there's kind of two things. We were talking about this before to, the whole the best defense is a good offense kind of situation. Offense, defense. I think I said that wrong because sports. But anyways, so I used to get really annoyed whenever I would go to my professional development things with these master teachers and someone would ask, what's your classroom management strategy? And they would always say, well, you just got to make sure you have a good plan. And I would be so annoyed because I'd think, well, that's not what I want to hear. I want you to tell me this magic secret. But it really comes down to step one, make sure that you have a plan for every minute of your class, and then about 5 to 10 minutes more in case things get done faster than you think it will.
Oh yeah.
And so I know I think we both do this. Like I use, I always have I use Canva, but have a slideshow up on my board.
Yes.
Whenever kids first come in, there's no what are we doing today? Are we going to sing today? I literally with my choirs, I have 8:10 a.m. warm up, 8:17 America the Beautiful.
I don't do that with elementary because then then they get really it's 8:16 on the dot. We're not doing that.
Right.
Okay, all right.
It holds me accountable because it's really, especially when you're rehearsing a performance ensemble, I think it's really easy to get down in the weeds on a piece.
Oh yeah.
And then you're well, shoot, now class is over and we worked on the same 3 measures which is great, except now we didn't practice those other pieces. So it holds me accountable as well. But with my elementary kids, I just have a list of hello song, and then all the different things that we're going to do. That helps me. It gives me visual cues of shoot, what's next? I forget. Because something we were also talking about is, especially with elementary, but with my middle and high school kids too, it's 5 seconds, man. If you fumble around for 5 seconds trying to find a marker, trying to get your laptop to work because you didn't have the video already pulled up that you were going to show them, it takes no time at all for them to get off task. And so having a plan before you start, very specifically, and having all of your materials ready, all your videos. One thing I love, I do use a lot of YouTube in my, especially my elementary classes, because we just do a lot of listening and moving and watching different instruments and on a Canva presentation, it's really easy to put all my videos in the slideshow. So I don't have to be searching for them already.
That's so nice. Yeah.
It's just right there. And I can just next slide and there's the video and we're ready to go.
I have tabs on my Google Chrome that is upper elementary panic mode, lower elementary panic mode. So if I have to go take a phone call or we get done really early or I'm having a day where I'm I cannot stand up and teach. I am so tired. I'm so whatever is happening, I cannot get up and physically lecture, teach, whatever, do it in front of this class. So then it's activity websites and also YouTube videos that I can just pull up that will keep them occupied for 5, 10, whatever minutes. Yeah.
it's also really valuable to work on. This is something that if you're over the summer might be a good thing to kind of, build up your repertoire for, is what are some things that you can, okay, so we're done with the lesson.
Yeah.
Shoot, there's 5 minutes left in class.
And
let me tell you, you cannot just be like, take five.
Oh, just hang out. First graders, just sit and talk quietly with your neighbor.
7th graders,
right?
Like,
even my seniors,
so have little things. So I have with my elementary kids, I have little silly songs, the goldfish song, or just other random little get up and move, do some
do freeze dance.
But it's something that's active. It's engaging for them, but it also, like, I can just pull that out at the hat. With my older kids, I might do things like, we call it copycat. Other people call it like 4 beats behind. It's where I have everybody stands up and we do like echo after me, But while they're echoing, I'm going on to the next thing. That's
a fun one.
And so it's kind of a brain activity. And then I have, if you mess up, you sit down and we see who can be the last one. They always ask to do that. But do some research. Ask us. We could do that on the TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Some of our favorite
TikToks.
Our favorite little 5-minute. But have those in your brain so you don't have to.
Yeah.
But with my little kids, they don't even know. They don't even know that wasn't part of my plan.
Right.
But I have
and
that panic moment.
And the
like,
big kids.
I still have time. And hey, all right, now we're gonna do this.
Also, contingency plans for like our schedule gets messed up all the time. Like there's assemblies, there's pep sessions, there's the middle school celebration day, and then they come back with the last 10 minutes of school on the last day of school, and you have to like keep these kids from destroying your entire classroom or themselves. And so like, what do you do? And so like I have insane Simon Says where I like speak as fast as humanly possible. Like Simon says stand up, Simon says sit down, Simon says touch your nose, Simon says touch your head, Simon says touch your feet, and then I'll like do funny things. I'm like, oh hey, you two need to switch, and then the kids are so like, oh yeah, okay, and then they like automatically do it, and then I'm like, well, Simon didn't say. They hate it. I love it.
I think also how you structure your lesson makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Think about when I think about especially my elementary kids, but even with my ensembles, we always start with our warm up or our welcome song. It's something that's consistent every day. They come in and it makes them ready to start music because they know how our music or how our rehearsal is going to start every day.
Yes.
We start it consistently, and then I always put the brain work up front.
Yes.
So if you're having them do decoding or do, dictation or just learning a new concept, learning a new harder song. If you're in rehearsal and that piece that's really tough, if you've got something really tough to work on that first. And then be aware of how long they've been sitting. How long have they been sitting still? You know what? And you got to kind of learn how to read your room too. Like if you're looking around and they're all getting fidgety, sometimes you just got to cut your losses and be like, okay, all right, we're
moving on.
All right,
yeah,
time to move on. Here we go. Let's get up and march around the room. Let's get up and do something.
I also find that like I have done many different things. I've tried like a check system. I write it down. I've tried Class Dojo. I've tried, like all these things. You got to find what works best for you. I have a issue with like the check system, and that's like, oh, first time is a warning, second time you miss an activity, third time I tell your teacher, fourth time I call the principal, which that works well for elementary, honestly, because they come in once a week. Mm-hmm. But in my middle school, high school ensembles, it doesn't work as well, just like trying to keep track of all of that, because then it's like the write-ups and the this. So I think a really simple, like if I have to stop class more than 2 times, or like 2 or more times, we have now taken multiple minutes of this 46-minute, not even an hour class time. I have had to stop class now probably 2 to 3 minutes of this time because you are making the choice to misbehave. So I'm going to write you up. And I kind of talked about this before, we have like the classroom write-up versus the office write-up. So the classroom is like, it's on their record, but they don't automatically get sent to the principal. And then the office write-up, that is a like, nope, you need to talk to the student about their behavior. Like, I need someone higher up than me.
And so here's the hard part with that is consistency.
Right, because that also takes 2 to 3 minutes of your time that you do not have in a day. However, I do think, like, up front, keeping consistent with that, like, oh, you have your phone? No, I'm taking it. Those are the rules. Right. You are eating in my classroom? Nope. Go stand outside. Also, I'm writing you up. Like, you are
and
talking,
and among students. Like, I
yes.
think it's something that kids are so attuned to. You know, I've been guilty in the past of knowing, like, oh, well, like, Susie's just having a bad day, so I'm going to let it slide when she does this. But then whenever Johnny does it, I'm immediately down his throat about it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is kids will pick up on that really quickly.
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter if it's Susie or if it's Johnny.
Consistent.
If you have a plan, if you've told them this is the plan, they need to be able to trust that you will follow through on the plan. And kind of going back to our original topic, it's even if it's your kid.
Yeah.
So
I don't have to deal with that yet, but I will.
Right. Your girls are not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So my son is getting ready to go into 7th grade. My daughter's getting ready to go into 5th grade. So, and I've had them both in music class.
And now I have them in music
you have
class.
Them both. I love it. But even with them, of course, you know, if they misbehave in my class, it's like an automatic call home, you know? So like
right.
they get the consequence that any other kid would get. So if I would write that kid up, then I'm going to write that kid up and, you know, they can go to the principal's office. They can stay in recess or whatever. I mean, I don't think that's ever, I don't know that ever really happened with my kids because overall they're, you know.
Yeah, they're pretty good in class. Good. I don't have problems with your kids.
Oh, okay. Hopefully you would tell me if they were, but
yes.
But you know, whenever I did, it's like it's one of those things like, yeah, so now, but when we get in the car on the way home, you bet that we're talking about it because I'm mom. You know,
yeah,
teacher hat off, mom hat on, and say,
right.
Hey, what was going on today in music class? Why were you not listening? You know, why did I have to pull you to the side and have a conversation about how to sit in your chair?
Yeah, you're going to get to know which kids are going to cause problems and which kids usually aren't going to cause problems pretty quickly. So if Susie is one that likes to push buttons, you're going to figure that out really quick. But if Johnny is one that does not push buttons, then like maybe I kind of defer to trying to have a conversation with a kid first to say like, hey, I noticed you're making this choice. Do you know why? Like, why are we doing this? Sometimes they immediately break down and tell you like something horrifying. Yeah.
Like, whoa, like you're dealing with something
so much
right
more.
Now.
Like, of course you can't act right in class, but still, like, that's a conversation that kid still needs. Like, they still made the choice.
Right. And I think, and a lot of times, especially, well, really with any age, you know, if you have that conversation with them, you say, hey, what's going on? And you listen to them.
Yes.
And you say, wow, that sounds really hard, but you know there are rules in music class, so I still have to do this, but
yes,
I'm here for you if you need anything.
Kids crave structure and boundaries.
Yeah.
They don't know that they crave that, but they do. Like, they thrive in structure and boundaries. And I'm not saying you have to be like militant or insane. However, like, you need to be consistent. And I'm saying this as much for me as for anyone who's listening.
Absolutely. We are not perfect at this at all.
No.
But things, yeah. So whether making sure that you have a good plan, that you allow for them to, allow them time to mix up their activities so they don't get bored or their brains don't get tired right away. And then just being incredibly consistent
and
in whatever you are going to do.
I do truly believe. Now, you can't have too many write-ups, and that's when it gets ineffective. But like, taking the time to do the write-up, it's annoying because I have to stop class and like go into Harmony and find the right buttons and write all the things and do all the stuff, and then email the parents, then have to be like, okay, well, maybe the parents are going to be mad at me, and that's going to be a whole thing, which, like, honestly doesn't happen as much because as a parent, I have had the realization now, I want to know what my kids are doing, whether that's good or neutral or bad. Like, because I want to know if there's something that I need to correct at home. Like, are my kids biting other kids at daycare? Like, please tell me so we can figure that out together. Or as they get older, are my kids saying terrible things to other kids? Like, please tell me so that I'm not blind to what's happening with my own children.
I think obviously there are parents out there that don't care. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that I learned as a mom. Once my kids went to school, I realized how much I love hearing what my kids are doing at school. Like, I want to know, what are they working on in math? I want to know, just
how
are they doing? Do they have a good day today? Oh, they had a rough day today. This is something I can ask them. Like, oh, like I heard that, you had some, I heard you had some issue with some other girls at school. Like, let's talk about it. What happened?
It's like they're babies and small toddlers, and so you go from like knowing how many bowel movements and dirty diapers they had like every day to knowing like, did you like eat today? Did you have a good day? And they're like, meh,
right, because what happened? You're gonna get in the car after school and you'll be like, how was school today? Good.
Can you elaborate? No.
Did you learn
That's
anything?
Fine. No.
Okay.
Yeah, because like they're these beautiful little cherubs that want to tell you everything, and then they turn into preteens. And
something that was really fun, and I should get back to this, is I used to do an elementary music newsletter. And it was kind of pre-COVID when I did that, and then after COVID kind of got out of the habit. But one of my favorite things I did was I said, like, ask your child to, and it might be like, like, show you like the note names of the staff, or ask them to sing "This Land Is Your Land" for you. Like, ask them to play Apple Tree with your family. Like get together as a family and let your kid teach how to play our Apple Tree game. Yeah. Or something that can bring music into their home. And that way parents know that they're learning things in your music class. And it's not just...
Yeah, I do a weekly newsletter. I do a weekly newsletter for all my bands. And I try to include like pictures of something we have done. Whether it's like, oh, we did a concert, or, I took the high school band on this big thing, or we went to contests or whatever. But it's also like, oh, we did this activity. Like the 6th grade band made mobiles in class. Like, this is a cool thing. But yeah, I need to include like a little segment of like, 6th grade band, this is what we did. Like, ask them about this piece. High school band, like, we learned a folk dance. Like, do a folk dance with your family, or
so find ways to include the
positive,
in positive ways. They're going to be way more interested in hearing from you whenever you do have to make that like, something happened today. Email or phone call.
I try really hard I email because it's easier and faster, but I do like to call home too. Like, I'm getting better at it. Calling home when really good things happen, especially the kids that like don't get good news a lot, and that that those parents are just like anything, like they just need, like, yeah, your kid didn't slam the door in another kid's face today, but like, yeah, like really good moments with kids that probably don't get a lot of really good notes home. And yeah, like that's such a big difference, and it makes such a good connection with those parents too, that like, no, your kid is doing some good things. And I as the teacher have noticed that your child who has struggled in every other subject is doing really good here, and this is a good thing for them.
And that's going to help with your recruitment and retainment and all things. If parents have a good taste in their mouth of how, I couldn't think of a better way to say that, of their kid being in band, like, because like, if like, oh, when I think about that teacher,
oh yeah, like they sent me an email of how great my kid is, and they noticed,
I really like that person, or like, oh, like all I ever hear from that teacher is they just complain about my kid all the time. You know what? You might as well just drop out of their class anyways. And so having that, and also if you are acting up, if you're usually all positive, and then you send home that email that's like, uh-oh, something happened.
They know it's a big deal.
Yeah. And their teacher and their parents much more likely to be like, excuse me.
Right.
Normally Mrs. Helms is all sunshine and rainbows, and today I heard this happened. Let's
talk about it. Yeah.
Yay.
I heard an analogy that I really liked, that kids are just pushing boundaries. So this was about a parenting TikTok. But it was like kids are always pushing boundaries. Like they're always checking to see if the door is locked. And if sometimes the door is unlocked or sometimes it's wide open, then they're going to keep pushing that boundary. They're going to keep checking that door. But if they check it and it's locked, then they're going to stop checking it. So it's that, like, you have to be consistent. And being a toddler parent, I want it to be like one and done. Like, well, I told you not to do that, so why are you doing it again? Like, this is insane. Because they're a toddler and they need, like, several times over the period of a month to understand or more.
Literally any time that we come back from a break,
even if it's one day.
Or even if I've been, like, I was absent and they've had a sub for a week or a few days, or just we come back from a break or anything, I put the top thing on our classroom agenda is to review our procedures.
Yep.
And it might be 30 seconds of, I have these really big words across the top of my board that say, work hard, be kind, make good music. And that is my rules in my music class, because it doesn't matter what age you are. Are you working hard? Are you doing the things you're supposed to be doing? Are you being kind? And I always include things like, if I'm talking, if it's my turn to talk and you're talking over me, you're not being very kind to me, because you're saying, Mrs. Helms, I don't care what you have to say.
Yeah.
I'd rather do what I want to do instead. And that's not being very kind to me. And then make good music. We're going to use our best singing voices. We're going to do the best we can to use our time to become the best musicians that we can. And
keep your
quick 30-second review with whether it's my kindergartners or my high school choir. When you come back from a break, do a quick review, and it's amazing how much they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, all right, I remember how to do this now.
Simple rules are the best. Like, we all know, and most kids, like, by the time, especially middle school, high school, upper elementary, but like, they know the rules. Like, make good choices is one of my rules, like that. And I always tell them, like, that kind of covers it all. Like, don't touch other people, don't misuse the instruments, don't.
I laugh because all the time, like, and my kids hear me say it so much that I practically, like, sing it, and I'm like, if it's not yours, and they all answer, don't touch it. Yeah,
it's another favorite rule.
How many things? Like, don't touch other people's chairs, don't touch their music, don't touch their bodies. Like, if it's not yours, don't touch it. And there's always the one smart aleck that's like, but this chair isn't mine.
I'm touching the chair, the floor. Okay,
like,
then, yep, you got me. All right.
I'm like, well, currently that is your spot in the carpet and your chair to sit in. So you have my permission to touch that spot on the floor and that chair for right now. Moving on.
Yeah.
Just have a sense of humor with your kids. I don't know. I always get sad whenever I see people just, like, yelling at kids all day. Like, there's always, every once in a while, you'll have, like,
there's moments where, like, you're having a lot of personal stuff and it's bleeding over into your job, because we are humans, and that's affecting how you classroom manage. And I get it. Like, there's plenty of moments I can think back. Like, I'm a much better teacher now that I'm healthy, because I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease a couple years into teaching, and, like, that really affected my teaching, because I was malnourished, severely anemic, in pain constantly, and now I'm not. And I'm much happier.
You, like, had a code word for whenever, like, you had to go to the bathroom, so I could, like, keep an eye on her class. Because like, it, and if you've got,
like, take care of yourself,
personal stuff going on, like, it can, but that's also where consistency and having a plan helps, because maybe I don't have the brain power if I were to just be walking and winging it. Like, that takes so much brain power to not have a plan.
Absolutely.
Whereas if I already had the plan made, like, all right, like, here we go. Like, my brain is in a completely different space, but We have stuff to do. I know what we're going to do. So just do it. And so whether it's having your own kids in class or, or obviously, all of your students, having a good plan, being consistent,
being fair,
have a sense of humor, show grace.
Yeah.
And show grace and kindness. Kids want to know that you are there for them.
Yeah.
Not that they are there for you. And I think doing all of those things help build a culture in your classroom that is enjoyable for you and for them. You want to love your job. You don't want to go home feeling angry every night. There was a few years early in my teaching where I did I like music and I like teaching music, but I just went home angry every night because all I did was just yell at kids all day.
Yeah.
And so choosing to look at the good, a lot of times, especially in my little classes, if Johnny is sitting upside down in their chair, but Timmy sitting next to him is sitting up nicely, I'll praise Timmy.
Yeah.
And say oh my gosh, Timmy, you're doing such a great job sitting up in your chair. Thank you so much. And then as soon as Jimmy fixes it, which he will, there's Jimmy, thank you so much for sitting up in your chair nicely.
Because positive.
Praise the positive.
Praise the positive just makes everybody happier.
Everyone feels better whenever you're picking out the good. If overall kids are chatting, if you're in that and I don't know what just happened, all the kids are talking, I'll just start saying oh, Anna's ready. Oh, John is ready. Oh, Savannah's ready. Oh, I see you. Thank you, Devin, for being ready. And pointing out the kids that are ready, because then the kids that aren't are going to say, wait, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to act like them.
Yeah.
And that's so much, everyone feels so much better when you approach it from that way than Timmy, stand up, stop talking, hands to yourself.
Yeah, the less you yell, the more effective it is when you do need to actually yell.
Just throw something every once in a while and it's fine.
Don't do that. Don't throw things.
Don't throw things.
All right. On that note, before we all get fired, thank you so much for listening and watching. Please subscribe, rate, review, all the good things. That helps us. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you're struggling with or what's going really well for you. We want to hear from you. Yeah.
Sounds good. Hey, hope you're enjoying your summer.
Yeah. Bye.